Come to order. This is a special board meeting with a limited topic, and we will dispense with many of the formal procedures that we go through. And we will start with homeowner input.
Yes, so our first homeowner is Jackie Smedley.
You have to stay on the previous one.
I think you're good, unless the board thinks otherwise.
Issues over there. Well, you already know my feelings about term limits, so I'm not going to go into that. My issue today really is why special meetings are being held for something that's not an emergency and not where time is not of the essence. That's what a special meeting usually is for, to handle something that can't be handled in a board meeting. And the reason I'm concerned about that, it seems there's been so much energy put into term limits, town hall, and all of this, and where the actual business of our association is being neglected. Before the old board, let's say the old board, we had already established the time to carpet the lodge, and that would be January, because there's not much going on, and Cindy had already was blocking out time to accommodate that. So far, I don't think any decisions have been made of the type of carpet you want, how much bigger the dance floor should be, how it should be configured. Is that ready to go out to bid to vendors so that you can actually appoint a vendor before the end of the year, that they would have time to actually order the product and schedule install in January? I don't think that's happened. The other thing that concerns me is has put it off the any changes in the lodge based on the completion of Rec Center 3. Rec Center 3 will not change the need for storage here in our lodge. Rec Center 3 will not change the issue that we need to enlarge the spa room, the aerobics room in the spa building. You have, by not taking any action, you've lost this year of the finite amount of money that's available to be used for capital improvements. You've shoved that project out. It was intended to be a 2-year project, possibly 3. By delaying it now, you're adding another 6 months anyway, and another year and another year. And you only have so much you can spend each year. And each year that you're pushing it out, by not even completing something that most people are more interested in, you are going to cost us more money. The cost of installation, the cost of materials are bound to go up. I would suspect 90% of people in this community do not care about term limits. They do not care about how the committees are organized. But you are neglecting the job that you are really intended to be done as a board member. And that's to make sure our facilities are maintained and updated as necessary, and that amenities are installed that are to the good of the community.
Okay, our next speaker is Howard Lyon.
Okay, my name's Howard Lyon, and I'm here to speak in opposition to term limits, just let my feelings be known. Term limits are obviously an emotional issue. We all look around at our elected representatives and think they've been sitting there for 30 years and we want to kick them out. But like I said, it's a very emotional issue. But I feel that as far as committees go in our community, it's very different. It makes we have to remember that these are unpaid volunteers, and they serve here because of a love for the community and because they've got certain skill set and experience that are beneficial to the community. To come about and impose arbitrary term limits has never made sense to me in most instances, and particularly here in our community. I'm asking myself, why do some folks want to force other folks to quit serving just because an arbitrary time limit or date has come about? I'm asking if it makes sense to remove possibly the most qualified person because they've reached a certain age or a time limit. Personally, I don't think so. I wonder if you guys have noticed that some of the people pushing for term limits don't even serve at all. I'm wondering what is their motivation. When the actual committees have been polled, the people on the committees who are serving, they don't want term limits. Again, there's no proof that the current system isn't working. There was a recent study presented that showed a good, healthy turnover rate in all the committees. There are several committees that have unfilled seats, and there's no long lines of volunteers waiting to fill unavailable position. Therefore, what I'm here for today is to urge you guys to consider whether or not there's a benefit to term limits. I'm asking that you ask if there's a benefit that justifies the time, effort, expense, and emotional community conflict to impose these arbitrary limits. I'm not sure how you intend to implement these changes, or even what the proposed time limit will be. I'm starting to hear strange terms like protected class and various other convoluted rules to accomplish it. It seems to me that you either have term limits or you don't, and so why make it so complicated? There's the old saying about if it isn't broke, don't fix it. So that's what I'm suggesting. Thank you.
There's speaker forms still going around the back of the room. You go ahead and continue to circulate it. Okay. I'm going to pass it to the back here. Okay. Barbara,
Yes,
you're next.
okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for your wonderful work, first of all. I'm glad that the choices for this board are as they are. So, congratulations and thank you, and I hope everything will go well. Now, yes, I'm definitely a proponent of term limits, and the explanation is very simple. Entire government, or from the smallest unit, for let's say county, up to the presidency, everything has term limits, because it's only logical that people should rotate as they continue aging, and on the other hand, as they continue coming in, so that there is a continuum of this timeline. Now, I am in disagreement to the statement I just heard, and the explanation is the one I just gave. Also, it has been a great concern to me in terms of committees so far that so many of them are basically the same bodies. At least it's my 7th year. As long as I've been here, the same people are there. Therefore, I do not believe they can necessarily make proper decisions. Because in spite of volunteering as a gift to the community, some of those people are simply power hungry. Should they not have been, they would have volunteered long ago, 2-3 years into their term or time, so that other people have equal chances. Also, as to the mention of people who are not on any committee and who are advocating term limits, I wish to say that because of no change in the committee membership, that is one of the major reasons why new members cannot go in. Also, the entire process of choosing members of the committee should be adjusted for the inclusion of the community body opinion, not just, as I personally experience, or at least 3 different committees, one person from the, not necessarily board, but it can be board member and the office manager, and one committee member. How could that possibly be objective? All of these members, number one, have vested interest in their position, and secondly, they do not necessarily want new membership, of which I am convinced. Why? Facts speak for themselves. For example, let's say not committee, but the special group, 2-people group, who decides on vote count. Those are the same 2 women, as I said, as long as I've been here, 7 years. Yes, it's the same and the same. So I think it will be a very healthy move for the entire community, so that we can have rotation of committee members. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Are there any other speaker forms? Okay. All right, Jill, you're up.
I decided I had to speak. I know I've told this story before, but as far as nobody lining up, I took over chairperson for the bistro. That was my name of bistro. And about 4 months ago, and all of a sudden I noticed that everyone one by one left, and I had 7 positions to fill, and I have thus filled all 7. 2 are still yet to be approved. These are all people that are so exciting and so amazing and so ready to go. And I hate to say it, but the old committee that I joined, and I was on for 1.5 years, just had worked themselves into nothing. The meetings lasted 10 minutes. Yesterday I had a 2-hour meeting, and none of the committee members wanted to leave. They just filled the place with so many exciting things, and I know that I'm going to have 2 more members, and I know I will fill them, and all kinds of people are coming up asking me if I have subcommittees. So I am with Barbara all the way, that there are people out there, and they do have new ideas, and sometimes you can mix the new and the old. Everyone left. So I'm fortunate to have a whole new crew, and I'm looking forward to 2 more years at least of being with them. Thank you.
Any other speaker forms? All right. Okay, that concludes our homeowner input.
So, new business?
All right, the first item is the approval to mail out the proposed standing committee term limit information to homeowners for 30-day review. Just wanted to go through some of the language real quick that has been added to the common rules for all committees. The first change would be to the number 1, standing committees. The final sentence would be revised to state, this committee's charter may set the number of members with the addition of and shall include the member requirements. Number 3 of the common rules of all committees, it'll be all committees. Committees shall serve at the pleasure and direction of the board. The addition would be committee member terms shall be for no more than 2 2-year terms in succession. Terms begin in January of each calendar year. A one-time exception for a single member of a 6-year term may be granted by the board to retain committee knowledge and expertise. Members may also be retained with board approval for any committee that is unable to reach quorum in their recruitment efforts. This extension allowance would be on a month-to-month basis. Item 5 would include the sentence, homeowners may only serve on one committee at a time. Number 7 will include the chair shall appoint a co-chair in addition to secretary and other officers if required. Number 9 will change, each committee chair shall submit to the board prior to the regularly scheduled meeting of the board in January rather than May of each year. The board, number 13, the board shall appoint a member of the board as non-voting liaison to each committee, with the addition of, with the exception for when a committee has an inability to reach quorum. The liaison would be granted a one exception to vote in order to establish said quorum. Those are the changes that are recommended at this time.
So, I guess the first thing to do is we have to vote to put this on the agenda.
To mail out.
Yeah, I would do mail out the 30th.
I'll second that.
Okay. Discussion?
I have a discussion. When I campaigned, I went around to over 1,000 homes and introduced myself. And I asked the people, are you happy living here? They said, oh yeah. 80% said we're happy living here. There's over 1,000 homes that we went to. And then I asked them, do you have any concerns or gripes or complaints? And of the over 1,000 homes that we went to, 80% said, no, I'm happy. We like living here. Actually, it was 83%. Of the remaining 17%, the gripes they had pertained to schedules of the lodge, neighbors barking dogs. And if term limits was really a big issue, this room would be overwhelmed with people. And we started at the new area when we went around door to door. And so I think it's somewhat of a false narrative that has gained traction from a small but vocal group. And I don't think we've got 13 vacancies too, and once we'll go on bistro here before the next board meeting, so it'll be 11 vacancies. And I don't know how many are going to go on the community planning committee, whether that's going to robust up to 7 or not. But I just wanted to state my case that I just don't see it as a heartburn issue. It's consumed an awful lot of time, an awful lot of meeting time, discussion time. The town hall we have is very good, and then you did a great job of explaining the issues. But again, if it was a heartburn issue with as many people as claim it would be, that room would have been maxed out to the fire marshal's maximum capacity, and it wasn't. So,
Mr. Graves,
hmm?
is talking or is there more time for comments?
That's it.
I have a different perspective. I ran solely on term limits for my campaign, specifically two-year term limits. I garnered 974 votes out of this community who knew that was my posture and what was going on, so I'm going to respectfully disagree with Fred's summary.
Any other comments? Discussion?
Well, put in mind, when Claudine and I ran, we had about 3 different campaign topics. Term limits was one. We did win, and many of the people we talked to, door to door, just like Fred did, said yes, that they felt that it's good for the community. They appreciated the work that has been done by the people on the committees, but they felt that any viable organization needs to have a continued replenishment of new ideas and new interests. And so I'm in favor of the term limits. I would point out to all of us that all we're doing at this meeting is following the process of mailing this out to the community for comments. And we will listen to those comments prior to a vote on enacting term limits. So we have yet another opportunity to hear from what may be the silent majority that's out there. So if there's any other comments.
I agree with you. You make a good point. This is just a letter going out, and if the largest proportion of the people living in the community say they want term limits, then at least we know where to go. If they say they do not want term limits, then you know, Fred, as he pointed out, he spoke to 1,000 people. But during the meet and greets we all did, a lot of the people that we spoke to wanted term limits. Not to be disrespectful to any of the people who have been in the different committees for a long period of time, but the community has grown in size over the years. We have a lot of new people, and they should have the opportunity to at least apply for the committee, be selected to the committee, and go on the committee. So this is just the beginning. From there, we do what the community wants.
So are we ready to vote? All those in favor of mailing this term limit review out to the homeowners, say aye.
Aye.
Opposition? Motion passes.
There is a town hall scheduled for November 3rd at 1 PM. That will be included on the daily report for reviewing the homeowner comments.
So
Yeah.
second.
It's the second.
Oh, second.
Second.
I have wrong date. Second.
Oh,
Second. All right, next item on the agenda is the revised arsene fountain removal contract. Initially, the board had approved $3,000 to remove the fountain in preparation of using it for a different purpose. When the contractors were jackhammering the foundation out, instead of it having a 12-inch footing as expected, it actually has a 24-inch footing. Okay, so they tried to do different things in order to prevent the rest of, they were trying to keep it within the circle and try to get it out. They could not do it without compromising the surrounding cement. So it is going to require some special equipment, some additional labor hours, and so the contract came in for the special services at $3,200. $224.
Put statute on it.
Are you cozy?
Beer can artwork. Discussion?
Need a motion first.
Oh,
Yeah.
we need a motion to remove the newfound hunk of concrete underneath the old fountain.
I make a motion to remove the hunk of concrete under the old fountain.
Discussion? Vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposition? Motion passed.
And that was all that was on the agenda for discussion today.
We don't have to talk about the yard sale stuff.
The yard sale did not get in on time we didn't have the 4 days to make that decision. It's my recommendation that you guys select maybe somebody to come with me and take a look. I don't know, does it take the whole board to do that?
It takes no one.
I think it's you.
Well, here's the deal. I have my list, I've got all the inventory, and I just, Sapphire Grid asked if somebody would just come out and take a look and sign, make sure we're good. Okay, good. So no board decision is necessary.
Okay, so.
That's it.
Really good.
We're at 11:25.